So thank you guys for joining today. And as you're still trickling in, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Ship and Sip. I'm your host, Erin. I manage ShipStation's community, which is a place where users like you can network, share tips and tricks, and help each other solve complex workflow problems. We want to get started today by thanking our amazing sponsor for this month, Channel Advisors. Thank you guys so much. We wouldn't be able to do it without sponsors like you. And today we're going to be speaking with an e-commerce marketing manager of Crazy Dogs T-shirts, Tony Kingston. Hi, welcome, Tony.
Hi, thanks for the welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So before we get into that, we're going to go over a quick little housekeeping item here. We're going to be doing a Q&A at the end of this panel discussion. So please make sure to submit any questions you have in the comment sections. We really do encourage everyone to ask a question. And as an incentive, we are going to be giving away not one, but 2 Crazy Dog gift cards for $50 to 2 lucky audience members. Yeah, Crystal, woohoo, definitely. So submit your questions so you can be entered to win. And with further ado, let's get to the reason why we're here. Tony, hi. Can you tell us about Crazy Dog T-shirts and how it began?
Yeah, so it began, a ways ago, back in 2004, I think. It was started by my brother. Full disclosure, I'm the product of nepotism here. And he was just started making T-shirts in his mom's basement, my mom's basement too, selling them online. And it ended up being a pretty good business. He was making a lot of T-shirts, selling a lot of T-shirts. From there it grew. We moved to our own warehouse. We hired employees. I should say he did. I didn't quite join him until a fair amount later. And then we expanded our product line. We started with funny T-shirts, moved on to aprons, coffee mugs here. Let's see, what do we got? We got oven mitts, socks, all manner of stuff.
Look at you with all the goodies. You're ready.
That's right.
That's awesome. So it was kind of a family business and you just joined in?
Yeah, it was it was always Bill's business, and I kind of helped on the side, especially during the rough patches, just while I was doing my other work. I used to be a scientist. I worked in Boston, but for a while, after a while, I learned that you can make a lot more money selling T-shirts than researching in a lab. So I joined, and you could be closer to family as well, which is really nice.
I mean, that's kind of the dream, right? Being able to get the really good work-life balance.
It is a good work-life balance. I'll have to admit that.
That's awesome. How long have you been using ShipStation and Channel Advisor? And what would you say are your favorite features or tricks?
So Channel Advisor, we joined first. I think we joined them back in 2013, though it could have been a little bit earlier than that. And we joined Channel because we had a ton of listings. We sell a bunch of different designs on shirts. We needed something to manage it. ShipStation was a little bit later. I'd like to say 2015, 2016 is when we integrated. We used to use ShipWorks for a while, but that was just way too clunky for us. So we moved over to ShipStation, and we've been pretty happy ever since. And I think the other part was about what's your favorite features?
Yeah, or tips and tricks.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, the most important thing to us would be all of the different ways you can automate processes. On Channel, you can make it so, for instance, we can make all of our women's shirts treated differently than men's shirts with logic functions so that they both list in the right category. And we can do that for every single store. It helps to not have to make specialized attributes for each store for each product. And in ShipStation, same type of automation thing. We can make sure that if it's a hoodie, we treat it a certain way. It gets priority shipping because it's so big, it has to be priority, that kind of thing.
Right. I can imagine automation is key, especially in a high volume business.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now, what would you say would be the biggest challenge for apparel companies selling online that you've seen, and how do you kind of overcome that?
Well, the biggest challenge is that no one wants to pay that much for a t-shirt. I'd say 20 bucks, maybe more if it's, you know, a hoodie or a special design, or if it's something for charity, but really people aren't looking to spend a lot. So your profit margins are going to be pretty slim. And you have to do everything you can to maximize efficiency and also ensure you can sell as much as possible, make as many sales. So for us, our strategy is all of the automation features of ShipStation and Channel for that efficiency, and then a dedicated art team to make sure we can make as many current listings as possible and just attract as many customers as possible.
Right. So kind of just to paraphrase, it's a little harder because it's not a high cost item.
Exactly. Every sale will get us a few dollars. So in order to be a successful business, we want to get a bunch of sales.
Right, right. And what would you say, like right now, what would you say the best piece of advice to kind of getting that traction and overcoming that would be?
Well, I think what you need to find a way to do is optimize all the ways where you can increase sales with minimal cost. There's a lot of platforms out there, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Etsy, so many platforms. You want to get on as many as possible. And that will just boost your sales for every item you sell.
Right. So kind of diversifying.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. How would you say that the e-commerce landscape has evolved since you started almost 10 years ago?
Oh, well, things were a lot different back then. We started with pretty much a website and an eBay store. And back then, a website was sufficient to generate enough sales to really make a lot of profit. I should just, you know, people would go to websites and buy stuff from websites, and that was normal. And if they wanted maybe a better deal or something else, they'd go to eBay. And amidst the, I guess, all the Beanie Baby listings that were there at the time, you could also buy t-shirts or other things. Nowadays, things are a lot different. Amazon's the top marketplace by a mile. eBay isn't that big. Usually your own personal website, it's a challenge to make that really generate a lot of volume, even though it might be one of the most cost-efficient platforms. So you really have to kind of move onto the different platforms to be successful.
Right. But circling back to the one, you know, Channel Advisor, what if you didn't have the benefit of that particular platform integration with ShipStation, how would that impact your operations?
So what Channel does, for anyone who's not that familiar with it, is it lets you list all your products on different marketplaces. Amazon, eBay, Walmart, they have, I would say, 20 to 50 and you know, the big ones, like we're not on Target yet, but they have Target. And you can also list internationally on Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, that sort of thing. Channel consolidates all of that. So you just put your products onto Channel. It lists on those marketplaces. When orders come in, they come through Channel, and then they go to ShipStation, and then you can ship them out. And the Channel ShipStation integration is very smooth. It just, the orders come in, they go to ShipStation, they get shipped, they get marked as ordered on Channel. Channel tells the marketplace that they were shipped correctly. If we didn't have Channel, we'd have to integrate ShipStation directly with each of these marketplaces. Mm-hmm. And if there was any issue, we'd have to figure out that specific integration, as opposed to just focusing on Channel, which is more helpful if there's an issue.
Yeah, not to mention all of the logins you'd have to manage. I mean, mm-hmm. at the very bottom of the problem scale, right?
Yes, so, we have Excel files of logins sometimes.
Oh, without single sign-on, I think I would be lost. What kind of, you showed us some of your products before, but can you tell us what kind of packaging you typically use, and what are your recommendations or tips to cut down on rate costs with your packaging?
Yeah, so packaging, we've got the standard mailer. These guys are real cheap. They have the little adhesive strip. You buy them in bulk and you only have to worry about them when you run out of them. This works for most of our products, anything that's not fragile. Where was I? And for anything that's fragile, like say a mug, we just use probably the smallest box we can. And we'll usually just purchase small boxes in bulk for that.
And that works pretty well for you. Like not a lot of damage if you put it in a smaller kind of space would be a good recommendation for anyone watching.
Yeah, and we haven't had too much trouble there. We do always, we sell so much that all of the t-shirts are in bags together. It's really hard for us to see these t-shirts getting damaged because they're cloth, they're lightweight. Unless they get caught in some machine and gears tear into them, they'll be fine. Mugs, sometimes they break, but we'll just refund the customer if they do.
But it doesn't seem like you have a lot of that going on. So maybe that's some advice to somebody who's seeing maybe some breakage.
Oh yeah, it is easy to do customer service for a weekend and get really personally offended by people. But you have to remember that these are the minority, and especially with a low cost item, just refund them and move on to other things. Don't even worry about it.
That was actually going to be my next question. How do you maintain kind of that extra mile kind of stuff? And, obviously with your return policy, but how are you integrating your brand into the shipping as well?
So we did buy for a time our own brand on the packaging. And it was fine. It just, the supplier we went through had slightly worse adhesive and it was more people complained. So now we're back to the blank packaging. Our ShipStation labels though, they let you put your logo on them. And that's good enough for us because we have our label on every package. People who see our package see our label and they'll know that's the Crazy Dog t-shirt coming in.
Yeah, and then you also have that packing slip if you're including it too.
Yeah, we put every packing slip into the bag itself so customers get it, and you can modify the packing slips to not include price, which we always do because customers will ask, usually if it's a gift. And that'll have the order information so the customer knows what they're getting as well.
So do you do that by default for all orders? That's really interesting and something that's a good recommendation.
Yes, we do, because we treat every label. We print those ShipStation labels on 2-up labels. So there's 2 stickers. One's the shipping label, one's the actual products the customer ordered. And our team will see that every label is important. Every piece of paper is an order and has to be dealt with by the end of the day. And they'll know exactly how to handle it. And when they have all of the products on top of the piece of paper, they can put them in a bag, put a printing label on the bag, put the rest of the label in there, and everything's together.
Yeah, that sounds like a good kind of open shut, all ready to go kind of thing. So obviously we can't have a conversation and not talk about COVID. I know everybody's probably like, let's stop talking about it, but let's talk about it. How has the pandemic affected your business, and what have you felt has been the most successful changes you've made?
So the pandemic was initially very rough for us. We're in New York State and they shut down almost entirely in late March. And we had to send all of our employees home and have them work from home. We were allowed 1 person in the warehouse, which was typically my brother. And then when he'd leave, I'd usually come in, and then we'd usually have some of our other employees come in and just do whatever we could. It was, at the same time, everyone was stuck at home and wanted to buy things, and they could only buy them online. So sales actually increased for us. So we were having an incredibly difficult time keeping up. It was tough, but we ultimately streamlined everything because we had to. We had to get everything more efficient by a mile. So at the end of it, we ran a much tighter ship, but it was a tough month or 2.
Yeah, I can only imagine getting those orders building up, but not being able to safely have people come in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Actually, we're about to hit our Q&A here. We have one final question. And then we're going to hit our Q&A. So please, please, please submit your questions, because who doesn't want to win a $50 gift certificate? Show that shirt again, or the socks.
Yeah, let's go through the list of stuff. We've got aprons. We've got a lot of pre-printed aprons.
Ooh.
This one says whisk taker. We've got socks. This is pugs, not drugs.
That's adorable.
Plenty of t-shirts. I'm wearing a t-shirt right here. Science like magic but real. We sell masks too. We moved on to masks to help out with the pandemic, and that's been pretty successful.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing shift into that and have seen a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
So here's our final little question for the Q&A. We're going to get really deep and philosophical. What would be your final piece of advice to people shifting online or just starting out right now?
If you're just starting out, you might find it challenging to get on Amazon just because they require a lot. So while you're waiting on that, get your stuff on Etsy or eBay or smaller platforms, and just get set up and start getting your products online. Usually in our experience, there's no shortcut to just making listings and getting them up. The closest thing to a shortcut is getting something like Channel Advisor, which is an initial startup cost. And if you have Channel Advisor, great, you can just start listing your products. If not, you can just get your products up and start selling them right away.
Yeah, I think from my end, something that I see, and I believe you'll concur, is that people think that they're too small to start doing these things to set themselves up for success later. They're like, well, I only have one channel. Mm-hmm. Well, what it seems to me coming from you, start now, do it now, right?
Yeah, there's no reason not to open up a marketplace like Etsy, which has such little cost and can only generate revenue.
Right. That is really good advice. You heard it here first, guys. So we're going to shift into the Q&A now. And I have a question from Taylor. I'm so sorry, Taylor. Taylor B asks or says, hello. Can you ask if they have manufacturing or supply chain issues with China because of COVID right now? Or do you have manufacturers overseas that have kind of caused some trouble?
The answer is yes, we have lots of difficulty. We've had lots of difficulty for the past year. For every apparel manufacturer or everyone who sells apparel, they've been finding it really difficult to find shirts. We usually order our shirts in bulk overseas. We get shipping crates every quarter, and that got disrupted for a while. So we had to find other suppliers. Everyone was doing that, so those other suppliers were also out of inventory. So it was like it was one of those puzzles where, you know, like you can get a couple of 5XLs over here and a couple of 4XLs over here, except it wasn't a fun puzzle.
What would you say? Is there any tips that you've learned to kind of help people dealing with these supply chain problems?
Yeah, if you'll make a profit on the order, buy the shirts.
I mean, that's really good advice.
And also just stock up on inventory ahead of time. We found that was the only way to really avoid any type of problem down the road.
Right. Great advice. Carl says, how do you deal with returns? I know we kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but kind of going in a little bit more depth.
So we typically, every marketplace has their own system. Most of them, not all of them, will allow you to send messages directly to an email, in which case we have a few dedicated support staff that will handle our customer service email. In general, unless a customer specifically asks for an exchange, we will refund the customer, because for us, it's less than a $20 expense to refund the customer. To ship out a new shirt that they might not be satisfied with is roughly a $10 expense. So we just find it easier to make them happy and give them a refund.
Now, do you send labels to get products back, or are you
never
kind of cut your loss kind of?
No, we have too many t-shirts to begin with. If we get t-shirts, we will have to inspect them. Usually they have cat hair or some type of hair on them, or are dirty, and so we'll just throw them out. We don't like having to deal with that. It's not really profitable to go through returns like that.
And especially with COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor or anything, but sending used clothing or clothing that's dirty, probably not a great idea right now.
Well,
or ever, but
no, it's never a great idea. You couldn't get COVID. I am a doctor. No, you couldn't get COVID from it, but you don't need. No one wants to deal with that stuff.
Yeah, because you're not gonna mass wash a shirt and sell it again.
No, we would never.
Yeah. Great question, Carl. Next we have Vera. Vera says that she is looking into automating as much as possible. Do you have any tips on how to automate with product tags?
Product tabs. I've only used a few product tabs. I know they're slightly more efficient than just filters and the automation rules. I use the deliver tab because we recently started stocking deliver, and you can use deliver to specifically denote products that should not be shipped out because they are shipped via deliver. But generally, I've only used tabs to mark like maybe fraudulent addresses or things like that.
That's fair. Not for everybody. Everybody's workflow is a little bit different.
Yeah, I have to jump in. Someone asked what's up with the lime. My wife painted that a while back, and we usually try and cycle them out, but that's the lime.
So you saw your art? That's so cool.
We're not just. Everyone asks, are you a fan of LimeWire? Did you download a lot of MP3s back in the day? No, just a lime.
Oh my goodness. It's a beautiful painting. I love it.
Thanks.
So we got a question from John, and John says, using a scanner to pack and pick can be helpful with accuracy. However, for our apparel clients, a lot of their products don't have barcodes they scan. Do you guys currently use scanners, or do you have products for barcodes or any workarounds?
We don't have scanners, and we don't have products with barcodes because we sell far too many to keep track of it. It would be too much of a production hassle to put a barcode on every shirt we printed. We just print them too quickly, and it would not make sense. We do have to put barcodes on all of our FBA shipments and now our deliver shipments. So there's a process there, but that's not for packing and sending out our own products.
Right. This question kind of ties into that. So I'm guessing the answer might be no, but do you brand your shirts, like tearaway tags, or add your own branded?
Let me see if this is a brand. When we order shirts in bulk from overseas, we do have a brand. This does not. There's a, let me see if mine does. Oh yeah, you can see it. So there's a Crazy Dog logo in the back there, printed on the back. If we have to, as we've had to lately, get it from another supplier, there's not going to be a brand on it, and we're okay with that. It's not the end of the world.
Right. I mean, they know where they bought it.
Yeah.
I have a question here from Anthony. Do you drop any of your products? I'm guessing it's drop ship. And if so, what is the trigger to start using? Oh no, he means drop. Sorry. Do you drop any of your products? And if so, what is the trigger to start using other vendors for you?
Well, I guess we have to have a system where, because we have an art team that's constantly making new designs. Mm-hmm. And if we never dropped our products, if we never blocked them or discontinued them, our warehouse would just be too full of junk that doesn't sell. So every quarter we pick the shirts that just didn't sell that year, and we discontinue them. We get rid of them, we donate the excess inventory, and that helps keep our sort of our space, our usable space as high as possible.
That's interesting. That's a good strategy. Nia says, how do you adjust your product pricing to withstand fees? Do you include shipping and taxes with the item price itself, or do you tack on these fees separately?
Well, could you say that again? I just want to make sure I answer correctly.
Yeah, 100%. How do you adjust your product pricing to withstand fees? Do you include shipping and taxes within the item price itself, or do you tack on these fees separately? And have you seen benefits with one option over the other?
Yes, very good question. We tend to put all of our pricing up front. So we include shipping in the price of the product and we offer free shipping. We tend to see customers prefer just to pay one amount and not, even if it's the same amount of money, they don't want to pay a shipping cost. I should say same amount of total money. So $12.99 plus $3.99 shipping is less attractive than simply $16.99 as the total price. Because most marketplaces include the shipping as part of their fulfillment fee. Usually the fulfillment fee is about 15%. If there's a marketplace with a really high fulfillment fee, we will either jack up the price really high to compensate for that, or we will simply not sell on that marketplace.
Interesting. So that's kind of a determining factor of where you decide to go and where not too as well.
That's the only thing that really turns me off of a marketplace is if they have a higher fulfillment fee.
Interesting. That's good to know. I think that's pretty good advice for anyone shopping around right now, is to check and compare these things, because it's not something that everybody would think of right away. Next question here is from Rhonda. And Rhonda asks, with a narrow profit margin, do you still do sales and discounts? And what do you do for lead generation?
Good question. So we do sales on our website because we do not have to pay fulfillment fees there. We also do sales on excess inventory. So if we have a product that we stocked FBA or we have filling up our warehouse and we want to get rid of it, we'll drop that price down. We will also do a sale if we want to build a listing up. If we know we have a winning design, we'll drop that price down and lose money for a month so that we get a bunch of 5-star reviews. And then once we bring that price back up to the normal price, then it'll start selling like normal.
Gotcha. She also asked, do you have a nurture stream?
A nurture stream? We don't have a nurture stream. I don't know what that is.
I'm actually, surprisingly, I have not heard of that. I'm bad, Aaron. Fernando asks, for a new business about to launch a pre-launch or a pre-order launch campaign with ShipStation, what advice would you give that you wish you knew when you were first starting out with first-time orders?
Well, I don't quite know what you mean by pre-order launch there, but I would be.
Oh, go ahead. Go. If they're using like a campaign and saying, "Hey, the shirt's coming out, pre-order," and like advertising that and not like selling until the pre-orders come in.
I would be a little bit worried because if you have not set up your integrations correctly, you could end up with 1,000 orders that are lost, not lost in the ether, but that you have to then manually correct because you don't have the time to figure out a way to fix it in bulk. So I would sell a few just like normal and see if that works, and then maybe do something like that.
Do you guys often do pre-orders or campaigns like that, or do you just sell when you're ready to sell?
We just put our products up and sell them.
That's one approach, and then that's the other one there. Kevin says, how do you price products with different fee structures from different platforms, from 3% to 25%? So how do you price your products with different fee structures?
We'll typically, we try and keep a consistent price across the board for most marketplaces because a lot of marketplaces compare to other marketplaces to ensure they're offering the best, most competitive price. So we try and keep things all the same. And like I said before, if the fee is really high, we will discontinue or we will probably, that's the only reason we would jack up the price or just not list on the marketplace.
Are there times when you are launching and you're like, hey, this is a bigger fee, but this audience and this shirt content is worth it? Do you ever have like one of those risk comparison, you know?
I've had marketplace reps tell me that it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's never borne out in the actual sales.
Interesting. Our next question comes from Carl, and Carl says, are most of your sales primarily single sales and other items the customer randomly finds, or do you use upsell funnels on your site?
It's mostly single sales. We have some upsell funnels on our site specifically that are effective, but mostly single sales everywhere else.
Shane asks, do you use social media, Facebook, YouTube ads to grow sales with channel?
We've experimented with it, but we haven't found huge success. That doesn't mean it's a bad option. We just don't really have the expertise to take advantage of it.
Right now, what means of promotion are you guys using, and what are you seeing is most successful? Is it word of mouth, grassroots?
We find Amazon ad campaigns to be pretty successful, and we run those through channel. And we're starting to do Walmart ad campaigns, and we want to revamp our, like you said, general Google, Facebook, and social media ads. We've always had, I guess, mixed success. They haven't been a huge upfront cost, but we've never drawn in tons of traffic with those other ads.
This actually ties in. Great timing. Matt asks, did you find moving into new marketplaces more successful than driving sales through ads?
You know, it really depends on the marketplace, and it depends on the ads. All are viable options, and marketplaces are free, so there's no reason not to try to move into a new marketplace if it's easy.
Right. We have another one that says, are you currently on Alibaba?
No, we tried briefly, and I think we were having some challenges there, and I think people expect the price to be a bit lower on Alibaba, so we never went on there.
Right, that makes sense. So this is a personal question. What has been the most successful or your favorite product? Like something that you were like, oh man, I put this out to the ether, it's awesome. What has been your favorite project that you've ever done?
Well, I lack any and all creative bones in my body. I think the only product I thought of that would sell well was a mask that had cat whiskers on it, and that is not creative in the slightest. But my favorite product is, well, you know, it's surprising because our best products are just simple, funny sayings. So we have a shirt that says, I can't, well, let me find it. Here, I'll share my screen here real quick.
Show and tell portion. I love it.
We've got, can't work today. My arm is in a cast. I don't know why this sells so well, but it sells very well. So that's my favorite shirt.
Would you mind just showing us your site, just the homepage of your direct site?
Oh, sure.
Just so everybody can see.
We're prepped for St. Paddy's Day, as you can see. We try and keep things up to date on the site as well as possible.
Yeah, and it works. That looks like it works very well. Everything that's needed is above the fold. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. So many cool shirts. I think I now have found my next purchase.
Absolutely.
Vera asks, do you have any affiliate marketing going? And if so, do you have any strategies or any publishers you'd recommend?
As far as affiliate marketing, I guess Channel Advisor would count because they manage our ads and they might manage some more ads. Mm-hmm. If you're not comfortable with ads, I'd recommend having an expert do it, even if it's a initial high upfront cost, because they usually know what they're doing.
Oh my gosh, we're getting so much love for your fishing shirt right now in the comments. I'm going to say last call for questions. If anyone has any questions, speak now in the chat or forever hold your peace, because we are about to get into the sign off and our giveaway. Okay, looks like we got some. Do you have wholesale customers like churches or fire departments where you do bulk orders?
Yeah, because we've been around for so long, especially during the times when internet sales haven't been huge, we've have a pretty robust customs branch that like we make shirts for places like Genesee Beer, a couple of different beer companies, and other smaller local places, though we kind of tune that out as our sales on online platforms grow and grow.
That makes sense. As you grow, you can do less and less of custom orders, I'm sure.
Yeah, we just don't have the staff to handle all these individual requests.
Right. Speaking of staff, Steve asks, are your designs done in-house or do you use freelancers as well?
We have about a couple of full-time artists that help make designs, and we will have one sort of head of our design team reach out to freelancers to bring in new ideas and new talent.
Okay, that's so when you started, did you guys just have like an artist on staff or did you guys look to the people around, and how did you find people to work with?
When we started, we went online to look for artists to sort of pitch us ideas, and we would purchase the ones we like. Now, since we have our own in-house team, and as we're getting older, we're getting out of touch, and we've exhausted our capacity for ideas a little bit more. So we rely on younger talent to bring in the new designs sometimes.
Well, I'm sure it's not true. I'm sure you guys still have all of the creativity. So don't sell yourself short there.
Oh, thank you.
Vera asks, how do you deal with international returns, like for Canadian orders, or do you handle Canadian orders?
We do handle Canadian orders. We actually ship to many places on the globe using Globegistics, and ShipStation manages that just fine for us. We will refund the customer unless they really, really want an exchange. If they ask for an exchange, we'll send them a new shirt. But generally, we'll just try and refund them.
So right now, you are using correct Amazon ShipStation to process your Amazon orders, correct?
Correct.
Are you guys leveraging ShipStation for FBA orders, or are you handling those?
No. We were doing FBA before we got integrated with ShipStation, so we never wanted to integrate FBA with ShipStation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Carl says, how are you handling your international shipping costs? They are outrageous.
They're really high. We're just upping that is one situation that I forgot to mention about fees. We are increasing our prices internationally because of the higher shipping costs.
Right. So you kind of just adjust. Do you adjust the products or?
So Channel lets you do automated rules for every international platform. So I can just say, well, charge an extra euro or charge 2 extra euros than what we would offer on Amazon US.
Right, 100%. Question here. Let's see. This is from Cheryl. Does ShipStation aggregate your shipments to Globegistics, or do you use that separately?
ShipStation does not aggregate shipments to the same address. They do give you an alert if you can aggregate shipments, and we have to do that manually. ShipStation lets you do it very easily manually, but they don't automate that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Erin.
No, at this point, I'm not aware of that. That's not my specialty, but we do have people creeping in the chat. So maybe somebody can help Cheryl with some information on that. It does look like we are out of questions and almost out of time here. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward to the moment everybody's been waiting for. So since we are out of time, first I want to thank our amazing panelists. Tony, thank you so much. You've been so helpful today. And another huge thanks to this month's sponsor, Channel Advisor. And before we go, I want to announce those winners. So just to remind you guys, they will win a $50 card to shop some crazy cool shirts. And the winners are Greg Stanton and Tyler Gamble. Congratulations, you guys. We will follow up with you guys in an email for next steps. But if you guys didn't win, don't worry. We're sending out $5 gift cards to Starbucks, everybody who attended today, and a follow-up email that will go out tomorrow. Yeah, Crystal, woohoo, that's exciting. Also, we will be doing these Ship and Sip coffee chats online every month. So if you or somebody you know would like to be nominated to be a highlighted user, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or email the events team at events@shipstation.com. See y'all next time. You guys have been great. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.